Hello and welcome to DNE Global's virtual demo event. My name is John Iorati and I'm the National Sales Manager of DNE Global. But before we start, I would like to say thank you to everyone that is spending time with us today to view our product demonstration. As we begin here, I would like to take some time to introduce DNE Global to you. DNE Global is a business unit of Bystronic and was created to offer a best value solution in the sheet metal industry. DNE Global's fiber laser cutting machines are engineered and manufactured and assembled in Switzerland. Once the machine manufacturing and assembly process is complete, from Switzerland, we ship the machines to the United States, to our warehouse locations, or directly to you, the customer. Our plan for the end of this year, moving into the start of 23, we will begin assembly operations here at our US headquarters in Chicagoland. We will have the capabilities to serve the marketplace in a timely manner with delivery commitments and schedules to best serve you, our customers' needs. With regards to the DNE sales and service structure, our team consists of sales associates, dealers, certified service technicians, and team members throughout the United States. Here at our US headquarters, we have applications and software engineers that will train you with your new DNE fiber laser purchase. With also giving you on-time service, here at our US headquarters, we have a stock selection of DNE Global spare parts and consumables to meet your production needs. With each DNE Global fiber laser purchase, we also provide you with a handy contact reference magnet that will give you quick access to whom to contact here at DNE Global for your immediate needs. So now let's briefly talk about our laser offering. DNE Global fiber laser offering is in 4 power choices: a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6 kW. The model that you see here is our LC3 model, which is a 30-15 size, or to be specific, has a 5x10 cutting bed area, 5 foot by 10. Our plans for the 4th quarter of this year will see the addition of a model called an LC4. It will have the same power choices, but with an increased bed size, such as a 40-20. To be specific, a 6.5 foot by 13 foot cutting bed area. All our DNE Global fiber laser machines come with a seat of DNE PowerCam software, which that enables you to import a parts file into the software for ease of operation of layout and nesting into a cutting plan that is effortless and simple by design. From all of us here at DNE Global, thank you again for your time. I'm now going to turn it over to our Senior Applications Engineer, Edgar Murillo, who is going to go over the software, the DNE PowerCam software.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Once again, my name is Edgar Murillo. I am the Senior Applications Engineer for DNE, and I'm going to run you through the PowerCam software, which is a great entry-level software to get you into this fiber laser cutting world. And on the screen, you're going to see the home page here. You have previous parts you might have worked on here, previous nest you might have completed. Then on the left-hand side here, you have Administration tab, Object Manager, Part Editor, which allows you to bring in DXFs and filter out lines of information you don't want to have on your parts. And then once you've brought in your parts, now you are going to do a nesting of your parts, combining multiple orders if need be, and exporting that out to your machine. Okay, so what I will do first is bring in a DXF. So I'm going to click Import. I'm going to choose a standard DXF here. This dialog box is going to open up here, and I'm going to choose what system of units, what type of material, the thickness, and click OK. Now I have my drawing here, or my DXF. Usually in most softwares, you're going to start highlighting lines of information and removing. What's nice about our software is you can simply come up to Layer View here. And now I'm going to choose the color that best represents my part, which was yellow. And now it highlights it as red. So I'm going to come over to the finish flag and simply hit create. It automatically filters out the information you don't want. So now you have your geometry of the part. Now the next step is you want to assign how you want to cut this with cutting technology. So what you're going to do is simply come up to cutting technology. Another dialog box opens up. Here you're going to confirm everything is to your liking, any special nesting settings you want to have on here. Once you've selected everything you want, you simply click OK. And on the right-hand side, this is our tech table. What's nice about our tech table is you can make adjustments to this if you choose, or if you're happy with it, you can simply go right to the finish flag or to the rocket ship. But one thing our software does do is it looks at three things. It looks at our material, it looks at the thickness of the material, and most importantly, the third thing is it's going to look at your geometry itself. So it's going to automatically assign how you want to cut these parts. To do that, you simply go to automatic, and now it automatically assigns how it's going to cut the part. So we have our legend here on the left-hand side. Cutting means full power or CW. And then if you see some of the smaller holes internally, it's going to be done with a process macro 1. So maybe a little bit less power, a little bit less speed to try to get that fine detail. What's nice is you can highlight a couple lines of information, say you need to make some changes to that. I simply come over to geometry, click edit. Let's go ahead and offset these holes a little bit. So now I just made those holes smaller. I simply go to cutting technology, and guess what? Just get the rocket ship again. Nice, quick, and easy. So now the software sees that these holes have changed in size and says, whoa, wait a minute. I need to make these a little bit more fine detailed even more. So now it brings in this pulse cutting macro. And what that's going to do is instantaneously turn the beam on and off very rapidly to get that fine detail and geometry that you would look for. But now we know certain software guys or certain programmers can be a little, shall we say, particular on how they like to do things. I can be like that way myself. So you have the flexibility to make changes on this on the fly if you so choose. So if you wanted to move where that lead-in is, you can. If you wanted to move anything else, change technology, as I showed you guys. If I want to change this hole to now, instead of process macro 1 to just regular CW cutting, I can do that. You have the flexibility to make changes on the fly if you want. But most of the time, you're going to be happy with what the software gives you. So now you've applied technology. You can save this part and move on to your next one. Or if you need to make a quick part for prototyping, what you can simply do is come over to create cutting plan. Hit this guy here. This dialog box opens up. You confirm everything is to your liking, and you click OK. So now what that does is actually pushes us into our part nester here. And it creates a single part program that you have just made on the fly. So you can export this right out to the machine and be done. Say you want to do some prototyping, you've cut some samples, but now you want to cut a full sheet of this. No problem. What you can do is simply come over to the sheet size, change this out real quick to 120 by 60. There's my full sheet. I can highlight my parts, and what I'm going to do is simply hit this graph box here. And now I can drag my box here, my part, and now I have 325 parts here, but they're in red because we only are asking for quantity of 1. So I would simply go over to this checkbox here to book surplus parts. And now I can create a nest with 325, or I can come over to the circular parts mode here. And now it automatically staggers the parts, and now I can fit 343 parts. Just like that. So there's my nest for 343. I can export that out right to the machine. Really good if you're running the same parts all the time. It's consistent, it's reliable, but we know realistically not every customer is going to be going this route. They're going to be combining multiple parts, multiple jobs to try to get the best utilization. To do that, I'll show you guys how to do that by simply closing these out real quick. And what I would do is simply click new job. And what that's going to do is bring me right to this blank page here. And in this blank page, you would simply work under the Sheet tab and the Part tab. Under the Sheet tab here, you see where it says Add. I click Add, and now what I can do is click a standard template that you might have here, or what you can even do is change the size to say you have a large drop off or remnant that you want to try to use. You can even use a circle if you're cutting large rounds or gaskets and things of that nature, or O-rings, and you want to utilize that internal material. You can absolutely do that too now. So once you've collected your sheet, you would enter in your quantity here at the bottom, and the next tab over is going to be Add. And here it works like a basic window structure here. You can choose multiple folders, choose multiple parts. If you don't see your parts, you simply come over here to your filter tab and you can click no filter. So now you can see all your parts regardless of thickness. Move them over into a queue, choose multiple parts. And once you've chosen all of your parts, you simply click open, and then they're going to show up down here at the bottom. So you would simply enter in your quantity that you're asking for here. And the way our software nesting works just like a stoplight. Red means no parts have been nested. Yellow means some parts have been nested. And green, all parts have been nested. You're good to go. So once I've entered in the quantities here, I simply come over to nesting, and guess what? I'm hitting the rocket ship again. Let the software do the heavy lifting for me. So now it's going to take that software and create that nest. And here we have a 120 by 60 sheet here. And all my parts have been nested. The dotted lines represent skeleton cuts. The orange-ish area represents the remnant or drop-off sheet that is going to cut off and save. And then down here at the bottom, if you're looking for detail and information for each part, you can simply go from left to right. Here you have rotation allowance in case grain direction is an issue, the status of whether or not all your parts have been nested, picture of your part, name of your part, the quantity that you asked for, if there was any extra quantity, how many were nested, gives you a breakdown of the size of your part. Mirroring authorization, what that is a really nice feature where if you have a left and right part that gets formed opposite, you are allowing the software to mirror that part to get better utilization. Auto microjoint, what that enables is any of these small little parts that might fall in between the slats, it will automatically place a black X or microjoint on here. So this way the parts stay on the skeleton. And then down here for test part, what's really nice about test part is anywhere on this sheet, once it runs that first part, it stops. So now you can go open the doors, grab that part, take it to QC, verify it's good, and then move on. And then finally comment cut, which I'll show you guys in a second. So hopefully I'm not boring you guys too much. Next step is we've cut parts. Now we want to know how long this is going to take you. So to do that, you would simply come up to machining time. And here, this is where it becomes really important. And you want to think of this as a triangle. The very tip are your parameters. And if your parameters are actually not on your machine, but actually on your network, what this allows you to do is if your operators make any changes to those parameters and save them. Now think of the tip as the parameters, bottom left as your software, the bottom right as your machine. So any changes, now all three can get real-time information and automatic updates, so you're getting a much more accurate estimate for your cutting times. So you would simply come up to hit these three dots here, and you're going to choose your parameter and click open, and you're going to hit calculate. And it's going to give you a time estimate based off of those same parameters that you're actually running on how long it's going to take you. So this nest here is going to take 32 minutes and 22 seconds. It's even going to give you a breakdown of each and every single part here with pictures. So it's a lot of good information. What you can do is also come up to preview, And now you can get a standard template PDF opened up. And here you can put your company logo, your slogan, you can customize this, who you're quoting a job out for, all the pertinent information for your nest, breakdown of each part with cutting times and of your nest. So now you can print this up, keep the paperwork with the material, or save this as a PDF, and now you can actually see this at the controller. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually go ahead and close this out here. And then that one other thing I wanted to show you guys was the common line cutting. And on here, this is common line cutting. We have 16 parts here. We have a space here, but can't quite fit them. So here our scrap is about 32%. What I'm simply going to do is come over to parts, click common cut, and I'm going to activate that. Then the next step is simply, if you haven't guessed it by now, hit the rocket ship. So now we have 20 parts, 15% scrap. And what's nice is if I come over to export and I hit simulator, I can actually see the exact process that's going to cut. So it's going to do the internal holes first, then the separating lines, and then finally the outside border. So obviously the running gag here is this is the speed for a CO2, and this is the speed for a fiber nowadays. So we know every single part is not this easily common cut. So we not only give you the capability to do common line cutting, but you can also personalize it to each of your parts. You can say only do the same parts, only do it in pairs. You can restrict the size of the parts. You can even restrict the size of the grouping or cluster, and also tell it only do the same edges. So you can really fine tune it to your parts in a way that makes the most sense. Hopefully that is a quick run through. You guys were able to catch all that. If you have any questions about the software, please write them down in the chat and we will go over them at the end of the session. What I'm going to do now is actually transition this back over to John, and I will be able to meet you guys face to face in front of the machine in a minute or two. Take it away, John.
Great. Hey, thanks, Edgar. That was great. I wanted to show everybody the machine so you can get a rough idea of the sizing of the machine and like the layout. So come on, follow me and we'll show you. So here, what we have here is our shuttle deck system. One of the things here that is great is that you have two decks that are stacked on top of each other. So while one deck is in the machine cutting, the other deck is out here where you can unload, take your parts off, and then get ready to load. And then once that process is done cutting, that deck will come out, and then the other deck will go back in. So as you can see, there are no hydraulics. The decks are stacked on top of each other for ease of operation. Let's come around and kind of show a little bit more detail about the machine and the layout. So the machine, in terms of size and scope, takes an area, a footprint of 35 feet in length and about 20 feet in width. And the width is taking in consideration the power source here, the chiller, and your dust collection unit. All the electronics of the machine are easily located here in the cabinet, quite accessible. And as you can see, the design is very simple. Ease of operation is great. The exhaust system, one of the important features that we have in terms of safety is you will have your light curtains on the perimeter here, and there's no cables that are on the ground. As you can see, the way the system is built, we have a track system up above that keeps the cables up in the air. So let's go back to the front and do our cutting demonstration for you. And we'll take it away and give it to Edgar. Thank you.
How's it going, guys? This is Edgar. Now you can put a beautiful face to the ugly boys. So what we have here is the LC3 6K, and what we're going to be doing is opening up the doors. Key points I want to point out is on the machine is the cutting head. Cutting head here. Sorry about that. I was muted. So once again, I will just quickly recap. We have our cutting head. We have our lens saver here, which is easily replaceable. Centering is done with these two screws. You have a nozzle, a ceramic ring, calibration plate, nozzle brush, rack and pinion, grease points on this side here and also on the other side, along on either side of the cutting bridge. Strap is going to get funneled completely towards the inside. You have 3 brackets daisy chained together, or 3 pins. Realistically, so if you're looking to place this into your facility, you want to place this as close to a wall if it is necessary. You only realistically need about 6 to 8 feet here. Okay. I will slide this guy in. And what I'll do is I will close the bridge or the door. And Josh, if you can switch to the controller, I'd like to talk about a little bit about that. So our controller here, we have our programs listed down here at the bottom. And the way our system works is if you complete a job, you'll see a green check. If you see a red X, you're going to see that that program has been interrupted. If you wanted to re-enable that program, you can simply drag this program down. And then here you can have this re-enable button here. You also have the moving this part to the top of the list, to the back of the list, throwing it into the garbage, archiving this program so you can run this again. You can lock a program. You can put it in a group and add programs to a group. You have plenty of flexibility there. To add a program, you would simply come up to add. You would choose where the location is, or you would have your archive programs that you run consistently all the time. Then you would simply come back. You also have on the right-hand side your parameters. So depending on what machine you have, you would choose your parameters and then choose the wattage. Material, you have filters for, thickness. Also, what's nice is on the parameter side, you can customize this and set your speed, quality, any sort of additional information you want to have on there. Most importantly is off to the side before you start a program, you want to take a look at your functions tab. Functions tab, I compare this to like Batman's tool belt. Not a cool gadgets and features, only if it makes sense. Here you have your origin offset, edge detection. So this way, if your operator is a little slow and they load things all off a little bit off crooked, the edge detection will automatically compensate for that. Stops, if you want to stop after or before a specific part. Nozzle cleaning. Program reference, if you simply want the head to move away after you're done. Vaporization comes in handy when you are doing film or any rusty material. It kind of burns off that little bit. So this way you get a more cleaner cut with less issues. And then next down is details. Details is going to give you all the information, including what parameters are assigned to these programs. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start this first program. And I'm going to hit the play button and click OK. And what I tell customers in training is the little yellow brick road right there, just follow it. Consider everything as a question mark. Do you want to execute this cutting plan? You just hit the little white button on the controller. Now it's going to calibrate. So now it goes over to the 0 point of the table. And what I'm going to do is simply manually adjust where I want it to start. So what I'm going to do is actually grab this little cool controller. It's completely wireless. And I'm going to dictate where I want to start the cutting head. Once I get that into position, I'm good to go. And I hit continue. So what we are cutting here is 060 stainless steel. Doing a little bit of engraving first. And we're cutting this at 1,400 inches a minute. It's for 6K watts of power. That's nozzle cleaning, and I just wanted to move out of the way. What I'm gonna do is simply open the door. That was pretty fast. Huh. Clear off the dirt there. The quality of the 6K fiber. Pretty sweet, huh? Cool. So now I'll move on to 125 cold roll steel here. Let's go ahead and leave that there. So as I said, there's that green check that job has been completed. I go right to the next one, and I just simply hit play. We went to more of an icon-based features because we know lots of operators, especially on first shift, second shift, one guy's Polish, one guy's Ecuadorian, you got a third guy on that's Russian. So we have over 50 different languages, and we went to more of an icon base, so it's simple buttons that they're hitting the same over and over again. Once again, I'm going to manually move this into position. Once I have that set, fire in the hole. This is 125 cold roll steel. We are cutting this at 514 inches a minute. A little bit of engraving there right now. Those little quick sparks were a little bit of waste crushing, which is an option you can program on a part to help avoid tip-up issues. There you go. If you guys can see that engraving there. There's the quality of the cut right there. 125 cold roll steel. Cool. Next up is aluminum. That is 187, so 7-gauge aluminum. Again, I'm going to simply start this guy, but actually, if I look closely on the controller, it's calling out for a different nozzle. So what I'm going to simply do is come over to my service position. I'm going to open this guy up, and I'm going to grab my nozzle. Once I have my nozzle, I'm going to simply unscrew this guy. And put it in. And this is how it looks on nozzle here. Pretty straightforward. Now, once I have that guy there, simply do the same process and start the next program over. So there again, it's calibrating. I'm going to move this guy into position. And then once I cut this part, what I'll be able to do is actually show you guys off in the background internally how we switch tables, which I think is a really nice advanced feature on this machine. Very simple, straightforward, cost-effective method. So this is aluminum 187. This is going to be a little bit on the warmer side, so I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on. I go ahead and open the door. There you go. You can see there's aluminum 187. And the speed I was traveling to cut that is 344 inches a minute. Now what I'm going to do is, if you can show the internals, great. Let me move the cutting head to my service position. And you can see on the upper right-hand view of the machine, when I hit switch on the controller, you see that door opening right up. And most shuttle tables, one table is going to move out of the way. Then the whole hydraulic system is going to go up and down. And then the next table is going to come in. What's nice and easy and convenient about this is they're both connected on the same chain. So as one table moves, the other table is automatically moving. Then you have the clamping system right in front of the brush on the lower left-hand corner there. That allows that. Now what I'm going to do is move on to the next one, which is 1/4-inch hot roll steel. Actually, I'm sorry. It's 1/4-inch stainless steel. I'm going to simply hit play. So it's going to calibrate. Once again, I will move this into position. Now here you'll see the head drop much further down. Again, that is because the tables are actually on 2 different heights. But the machine knows exactly which height it's at. So now I have that in position, and we start cutting that 1/4-inch stainless steel. And the speed on that guy is going to be, after it does a little bit of engaging, is 175 inches a minute. Great. Go ahead and open the door. There you see the quality of a 6K cutting 1/4-inch stainless steel, 175 inches a minute. Cool. now what I'm going to do is, for our final material, is we are going to do 375 with oxygen. And again, I need to switch nozzles one more time. But what I want to do actually is just show you guys one more time the shuttle of the table. So there it's clamping down, again, as you saw. And frankly, to be honest, I was just buying time because I hit the wrong button. So you guys get to see the shuttle exchange one more time. Sorry about that. But once this shuttle's back in, I'll go ahead and cut that 375 hot roll steel with oxygen. I just need to swap out the nozzle. So once that's set there, let me go ahead and swap that one more time. Once again, if you guys have any questions on the machine or anything about the software, please feel free to enter that into the chat and we will go over all those questions at the end. So I'm going to move the head into the service position so I can reach the nozzle. I'll swap that guy out. Put in the S2.5 that I need. That's in place. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. It's the same buttons here. One also key point I want to point out is on this machine, you have 4 different levels of access. So your first day operator, when you're first learning out on the machine, you want to give them the lowest level of settings. Whereas your maintenance guy, he's going to be more experienced on the lasers or whatever other machinery. You want to maybe give them the higher level access. You can restrict what they have access to, and as they become more developed, you can give them more accessibility also. Let me go ahead and shift this guy over into position. Once again, you saw how quickly that head dropped down to the lower table. Once I have that set, gonna do a little bit of engraving there. And we're cutting this 375 with oxygen at 75 inches per minute. There you go. I'm going to do is simply give this little guy a tap. Off the debris on there. Now you have a 375 part here. You guys see that? Nice clean edge. With oxygen engraving. And that's burning my hand a little bit. So I'll go ahead and put that down. what I'm going to do is that's the overall cutting for DNE. You've seen the table, you've seen the software, you've seen the machine. Hopefully, you guys are interested on here. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out and contact us.
Yeah,
so let me take it away to John. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Eddie. Any questions?
Yeah, we have one question here so far, and it is, what types of files can be imported into PowerCam?
Any type of DXF format will be accepted.
There was another question that we had in terms of availability of machines. Currently, we have machines in stock and more machines on the way from Switzerland. So for those who are looking to have a quick turnaround from sales order, purchase, all the way through, we can pretty much have something ready for you to fill your immediate needs on a 6K and 4K. There was also another question in terms of installation. Who handles the installation? Our service team here handles the installation so that it's something that you don't have to worry about or be concerned about. Your responsibility is solely for the rigging. And if you need help with that in terms of finding a rigger, our sales force, our dealers can help you find a rigger. In terms of more information, in terms of wanting to see more, our website is www.dne.global. From there, you can see videos. There's technical information that is on our website. At the end of the video, we will show those contact links. But our sales team is ready. Just send us your contact information and we will contact you and find out how we can fill your needs. Also, let me talk about another thing, personalized demos. If someone would like to see this machine up close and personal, we can schedule a demo here in our Chicagoland office. We can also do a virtual demo again, catered to your needs. So if you would like to send us your parts files, we can then incorporate that and show you how this process works for your specific files. Typically, training will last about 2-3 days. I can let Edgar go into more
on the training aspect. On the training aspect, it is typically 5 days. We try to limit the class size to no more than about 6-7 guys tops because we want everybody to get comfortable with the controller because it's so brand new and because it's full touchscreen. We want to get everybody comfortable with that. We do offer advanced courses also. Software is typically 3 days, usually at our facility. I believe there was a question on what type of file formats. Once again, just to recap that, it is DXFs that we can accept.
Guys, another question came in here. It was, how long is an install typically?
Typically, the install will be a week to 2 weeks. But to help our process, what we do is once we receive the purchase order, that begins the ordering process. We will send you a pre-installed packet, a kit. We will work with you to make sure that your area is prepped and ready in terms of the electrical, making sure that is in place, your floor layout, just touching base with you before the machine arrives. So under that smooth transition, then from there, scheduling the rigger, what have you, typically 1 week, it could go into 2 weeks.
Guys, the last question that we have here is in regards to processing a taper for a bolt hole.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is not something that we can do. What you want to do is actually cut the internal hole first, and then you can easily ream that out.
Any other questions?
All right, guys, we're going to keep the chat open for approximately 2 more minutes to allow any more questions to come in. And then we will close it out after that.